Hello everyone. I wanted to have a look at a bit of an update, a little bit of an update of the week, because this has been quite a significant week today. Trump has started to walk back a couple of things. He started to walk back his firing of Rod Rosenstein. He's saying that he would like to delay his meeting because Rosenstein was going to meet today, the same day that Thursday, the same day that that Professor Christine Blasey Ford was going to address, and Brett Kavanaugh going to address the Senate Judiciary Committee. So first of all, I wanted to have a look at Rosenstein. My readings have been ambiguous on this, and I think that's showing the changing nature of the ground shifting all the time. We know that he was very nearly fired, and we know that a couple of days ago very much firing him would have brought down the tower card on the Trump regime. So I think what's happened in the interim is that the Republicans have wised up to the situation at hand, and the situation at hand is that with the eyes of the world, don't forget the UN Assembly meeting in New York, the eyes of the world are on America at the moment and are on the Trump government, and I think there was too high a risk at this point in time. What sort of impression does that give to the world? That already have a negative impression of the Trump government, that the SCOTUS nomination, or the SCOTUS pick, has an alleged criminal sexual misconduct history, or could have potentially, and the Senate is being seen to push the nomination through. I think the reality, and that the Deputy Attorney General could be fired, who's overseeing the Mueller probe. The aesthetics of the situation were just too much for the Republicans, and I think that's why we've got a walking back. So let's have a look at Rosenstein to begin with. Will Rosenstein in a way get a reprieve this week? Will he live to fight another day? Because I think it's very much almost a daily, weekly scenario for Rod Rosenstein. So will he live to fight another day? Will Rosenstein have a reprieve this week? Yeah, the eyes of the world, too much was too much. They were on. Okay, the Queen of Pentacles, and I think what did influence Trump to pull back was the Kavanaugh nomination. So if that hadn't have been going on, if the controversy around that hadn't have been going on, I think he would have just gone straight ahead and fired Rod Rosenstein. The King of Cups, he sensed the emotion again around the Kavanaugh nomination process, and that would have doubled if Rosenstein had have been fired. They're coming up with new plans. Okay, so it's not the end of the Rosenstein situation. They're actually coming up with a new way to perhaps get rid of him. And here we go. They're thinking about it. They're contemplating it. They're contemplating the best way to do it. So very much they're looking at the American public, and they're trying to read the signals and which way the wind's blowing before Rosenstein would get fired. At the back of all of this, I think, is the obstruction of justice card, and here we have it here. So they're retreating, the obstruction of justice charge, and here we are, they're retreating. They're absolutely retreating. So this week, Rosenstein does get a reprieve. In the future, given that they're coming up with these new plans, is he likely to be able to hold out until the midterms? Is Rosenstein going to be able to hold out. Okay, the Page of Cups suggests to me that there's going to be some sort of offer made to Rosenstein, some kind of, I guess, it's not actually a deal, but there will be some compromise, some kind of compromise coming forward, being offered by Trump to Rosenstein, and indeed by Rosenstein to Trump. So that may well avert things in the longer term, but, you know, there's isolation and the Five of Cups, isolation and loss here, and feeling abandoned. So I don't think Rosenstein is safe in the longer term, but perhaps in the shorter term he is. Okay, so that's the Rosenstein update. Let's have a look at the Kavanaugh, the Senate Judiciary hearing today with Professor Blasey Ford and other accusers. Of course, there's been a fourth accuser come forward now. It's really like the Republicans are waking up to the reality that I don't think they're going to be able to push this nomination through. You know, a day is a long time in the life of politics, isn't it? Kavanaugh is, you know, I mean, I don't think he's, well, there could well be some investigations coming through now. The card that jumped out is the King of Swords. Okay, so the truth coming out. So there could well be some official legal investigations. So investigations of Brett Kavanaugh by the law, because we saw interesting timing. Oh God, I don't know what's wrong with me today. Interesting timing that we saw. I'm just dropping cards. Okay, battle. Okay, everyone's battle weary. We saw Cosby being sentenced this week, and his crime was, you know, it was a long time ago. So it's not to say that Kavanaugh couldn't be investigated, charged, and prosecuted. So yeah, okay. So we're going to ask what is going to happen. Okay, what will be the outcome of Professor Blasey Ford's testimony to the Senate on Thursday today? Okay, the outcome. Okay, she's an extremely credible witness. Very, very credible. And that's going to come forward in the testimony. That's going to be quite impressive to the senators. Okay, so, you know, this smugness that they had around the nomination process, to me, indicates that it's going to be tested and is under threat there. They're going to be moving on from the Kavanaugh nomination. So after this testimony, it seems that everybody's going to move away to new, this is, you know, transition and moving on to different locations. This is suggesting they're going to be moving on. And they're not moving on in any sort of happy way, are they? Because their boats are full of swords. So, you know, it's like unnecessary, a forced moving, a forced transition. So, yeah, it's not looking good after today's Senate testimony. The Knight of Cups in the future position. The Knight of Cups is, you know, a proposal being put forward. You know, there's an offering of something. So it seems to me that people are going to probably be falling on their swords and offering to withdraw that nomination after the Thursday or today's hearing. Again, the smugness, mirroring the smugness card. You know, we've got the Nine of Swords, which is, you know, lots of grief, lots of anxiety. This is, the card of nightmares, and, quite a serious card for them. So that smugness is going to result in lots and lots of anxiety. I think there's lots of anxiety and grief around this whole situation for everyone concerned, but it is actually bringing forward some hope. Okay, when his nomination is withdrawn, it actually gives people some hope. So when the transition happens, when they move on from this particular pick, it actually provides people with a little bit of hope. So that sort of tells me that how serious people are actually viewing this and how distressing this is actually being. And this proposal that they're offering, that's going to strengthen the, I guess, coming forward, strengthen the Supreme Court. It's not going to weaken anything. And it's also showing the strength that has got the, I guess, the strength that's been shown by Professor Ford and the other accusers that are coming forward, the strength that they've shown in order to get this result, which is moving on from the Brett Kavanaugh nomination. So in the past, the Republicans, because these are the Republicans, this is where they are. They're very, anxiety. They've put in this is the Seven of Pentacles, and they've put in a lot of hard work to get to this point. But they've been abusing their power. This is just mirroring the issues and the abuse, I guess, around the whole Kavanaugh situation. This abuse of power, really, is what it boils down to. Goodness gracious. Okay, in the present. So while it's giving hope to people, this moving on from the SCOTUS nomination is not going to be successful. The Page of Wands is also saying that it's opening up the opportunity for a new nomination to come through. I'm not sure that would be rushed through at all before the midterms. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. And very much, this is going to add to the Republicans' burdens between now and the midterms. So that reading is suggesting that the arrogance of the Republicans in trying to do what they're doing has resulted in this. This is the abuse of power. It's actually after the testimony is going to lead to a necessary change, which I'm taking is withdrawal of the nomination. That's going to provide people with hope, and also the opportunity to bring a new nomination forward. The Republicans are going to come forward with some kind of proposal. I'm not sure what that is. It might be they might put a moratorium on his nomination to allow for some investigation. I'm not sure, but there's going to be some sort of proposal there. The strength of all of the accusers that have come forward is really going to be on display on Thursday for the hearing. And look, all of this is just going to add to the burdens that the Republicans are carrying between now and or they've brought upon themselves because of this abuse of power. It's just going to add to their burdens before the midterm. So it's not looking... I think today, in summary, I think Professor Blasey Ford will come across as a very credible, very, very respected. I think she will be... as soon as she opens her mouth as a woman, she's going to be respected. She's going to have the respect in that chamber. And she's going to be a very credible witness, and a very, it's going to be quite obvious the strength that she's had to have to come forward. And I think the senators are waking up to the reality that they've been, Kavanaugh has been exposed. In him being exposed, they've been exposed, and this is them very much now, including Trump, between now and the midterms. Okay, that's Revealing Light Tarot. Thank you.